In order to find out a little bit more about this innovative software company and this unique product they have called FlightCheck, we are now joined by two additional executives of the company. First off, this is Ron Crandall, who is the co-president of the company. Ron, why don't you tell me how this company actually began?
Well, Doug, it's actually very interesting. Pat Marchese and I, for the last several years, being in the computer industry, Macintosh, specializing in printing,
Right.
have lots of friends around the world. We ask them, what problems they're having, what feature they'd like to see in an application. These large developers, they can't easily upgrade their product to satisfy the needs. So we ask everyone, what problems are you having? And nowadays, with email, we can get a lot of responses very instantly, even around the world. So people would say, I'm having trouble, when I go to print a document, it doesn't come out right. How can, it's 1997. The computer is quite advanced. With all this technology, why can't I figure out a way to tell me when the document's really bad? So just by asking people, based on a survey, we looked into it and said, well, maybe we could develop such a product like FlightCheck.
So how did you go about doing this? You knew there was a need for something. You knew what the major problems were that users of these products were having. How did you go about developing the solution?
Well, actually, it took quite a long time. The need's there, but how you actually get the data from these documents, how do you technically actually do that? It's actually a very immense thing. This took 2 or 3 years just to develop this whole technology. It's quite a breakthrough. The way it actually came about was we were in the business of repairing bad files. Sometimes files get corrupted and then you can't print your job at all.
Right.
Very, very big disaster. But we figured out a way to repair these files. We started selling this thing. It was very popular because it quite saves a lot of time and money. I mean, once we realized that we were reading these documents, we were sitting around a coffee shop, and who would have known? We came up with this idea that, we could now list the colors that are in the documents. We can now give you a list of the fonts and the images, and someone says, well, could you tell me if such and such element is bad and this one's bad? And suddenly, hey, that's a product everybody wants.
So you went to work, you brought out the product, and was it an instant success?
This is instantly recognized as a product people need. If you compare it to fire insurance, you don't buy fire insurance after your house burns down. You want to guarantee that your document's going to print just the way you think it is. If you look at the evolution of this whole thing, it's very interesting because people are now able to buy a personal computer. Well, even kids are learning computers.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have various ways of verifying that the thing's going to work. A few years ago, all you could do is print, look at the thing, and start crying because now you realize you got to print it over.
That's right.
Well, but as people learn more about these applications and how to create a document and how to lay it all out, then you can look at the computer screen and maybe see if something's going to be bad. There are experts that do this for a living. But what we did is we tried to figure out how could you do it electronically. How can you create software that will scan through a document and look at all of the elements and build these lists of what's wrong, what's potentially wrong. We did this and we came up with well over 150 different potential problems that could be discovered or detected. So the whole technology has evolved in sort of a quality control type thing. It is actually an insurance policy. We scan the document,
Right.
getting into the detail that no human can get at.
Right.
Then we verify all of these different little things against a set of rules, which are customizable because people have different opinions or needs about what is an error and what can be allowed to go all the way to the print. Then we say, or the software says, if the job is approved or flunked.
What was the reaction from your friends, the people that had been telling you all of these problems all the time, when you finally came out with this product?
They call it a godsend. It it really, we have heard examples of FlightCheck itself creating jobs. Now you can check a document, you can charge the customer to have it checked and approved. So now people, print shops are hiring various people to sit down, run the document through FlightCheck to instantly guarantee that all is well.
Did you have any wild idea that this product would be this successful?
The original, well, the way I started telling you how how this company formed, it was originally done by using surveys, asking people what problems would like to be solved, things like that. There was no concept of starting a company, selling a product, and making money.
Amazing.
And this just fell right into place as a giant need. You have people creating documents, sending along to the printer, but the problem is there was no traffic cop.
Yeah.
There's nothing there to say this job is good or bad, and all that's left is wasted paper, wasted film, wasted time and money. And this thing fills that giant void. So the industry is buzzed. We have multiple awards. We have Program of the Year for 95, Program of the Year for 96, and we're up for 97 this year.
I know, interestingly, we didn't mention this before, but this really was created to work on the Macintosh first. You're just now coming out with a version for Windows.
Well,
right?
Again, the printing industry recognizes this now as such a standard that a lot of print shops use a PC.
Right.
Or better stated, are now able to use a PC because now they can check their documents. Customer walks into the shop, he could have a Macintosh, he could have a PC. The printing service bureau needs to be able to handle all these different formats. So again, per the customer's request, we're developing it on the PC as well.
Let me turn to you, Jason. Jason Tepestini is the Director of Education and Training for the company. You add support to the users of this product, correct?
Yeah, my job with Markzware is to train people how to, not only how to use FlightCheck, but also how to utilize all the tools that are available in desktop publishing to allow them to produce better documents faster.
So you make it sound as though, or that may make some people think, this is a hard program to use, is it?
Well, not necessarily. FlightCheck itself is very easy to use. We get very good reactions from people because when you start using it, it's very intuitive. You understand immediately what each of the different issues are that FlightCheck brings up. Mostly what I teach people how to do is I teach designers how to work with all the other tools so that they can integrate with the realities of the printing process. They're having to take on more and more responsibility these days, so we try really hard to set them up so that they know how to work well in the entire workflow, what we call the unified workflow.
Very interesting. Now, I guess the really big question is now, I mean, you've created a product, you've created something that's become a success. Where does this company go now?
Well, to this point, we've been checking problems. We're going to come back and fix them. We're going to be able to give push-button fixing of the problems that FlightCheck finds, or at least a lion's share of them. In addition, we're going to start working with the World Wide Web. We'll do web check, which will check HTML documents, and even moving out into concepts like the printer's web, where we'll be able to distribute documents and then print them in distributed sites throughout the world, checking them on the fly, being able to produce products like that.
So there's still a long way to go, a lot of jobs to be filled.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of niches and a lot of gaps in the industry that still need to be filled, and that's what Markzware does. They provide solutions.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been very interesting.
Thank you.
So there you have it, some more inside information on what this company does and exactly what FlightCheck is all about. Now, back to you in the studio.
And there it is, a timely report that represents some of the new developments that impact life in the 90s.
It was another focus of Heartbeat of the City. See you next time.
When we appear again on your television screens with more stories that are the heartbeat of your city.